is time to get raw. It is time to get down. It is time for the RawDown, the number one source for all things WWE right here at the Turnbuckle Tavern. I am your host, Young Anthony. Joined with me, as always, the MVP Marco of the Chick Foley Show, and yours truly.
If you ever take a trip down to Cobb County, Georgia, you better read the signs, respect the law and order, you'll be serving hard times. It's the Big Bone Man live in Cobb County, Georgia.
Where else? Where else would the Big Bone Man be but Cobb County, Georgia? Well, when you think that you have a big RawDown episode, the WWE comes back with some even more news, and the following week, we get an even bigger RawDown episode. That is what tonight is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the RawDown. We've got a lot to get into on tonight's episode. Some returns, some firings, a whole lot of mishmash. But nonetheless, I say we just jump right into it because there is so much to discuss.
Let's go.
Let's get right into it with our first segment, and that is with news that you can find
outside the ropes.
All right. It is time for Outside the Ropes news right here on the Turnbuckle Tavern. Let's get right into this. So we had a great appearance from Triple H himself on a little podcast you may know as Impulsive. It's J-Bone's favorite podcast with Logan Paul. Of course, we are into the second week of, it's the second week of Triple H's regime of the head of creative, or is it the third or the second? It's the third week. I think
it's the third. I think it's the third.
It's the third week. Second week is the full term.
Time's just flying by. It is the third week of Triple H's regime here, and we got a little bit of insight into the mind of Triple H here on Logan Paul's podcast, which you can find on YouTube and everywhere that podcasts are streamed. And he basically just talks about, his mindset going into being a, creative mind for the WWE, taking what Vince created and established and bringing it into the world of 2022, where everything is just going crazy. And a quote that I wanted to bring up here was, and I don't have the exact quote, forgive me, but Triple H basically says, Vince McMahon, he gives a little praise to Vince here, and he says that Vince McMahon took what was in, what does he say? What was in bars, and he made it into this national phenomenon of wrestling, which I thought was funny because wrestling was selling out Madison Square Garden and venues all around the world before Vince McMahon came into play. But basically, Triple H just gives the casual fan kind of look into the WWE and all of that. But I kind of wanted to tie this all into where we are right now on August 9th, 2022. We have seen a few episodes of Triple H's WWE so far, and we see that there is a definite change in the guard of creative. A lot of things that we were not expecting right away, but nonetheless, a lot of things that Marco wants to talk about. So I'm going to shut up. Marco, I'm going to let you take the reins on this. Give me your take on the Triple H regime of just completely flipping Vince McMahon's world upside down. And also, did you listen to the Logan Paul podcast? Because I know you'll talk about it and J-Bone will not. So give us your
I did listen to that. It definitely does give you some insight. There was a lot of things that are floating around about, like you mentioned, Triple H talking about how, Vince McMahon's vision and all that stuff. And basically, he's not going to try to continue with Vince McMahon's vision. Not that that's a bad thing, but he basically says he can't do what Vince McMahon did for the past 40 years. Like that's something that he did. That's something that, that's his style. Like he's basically just going to take what he knows and what was given to him and kind of, go forward with it. So he's not going to try to recreate what Vince McMahon was doing for the past 40 years, essentially. He's going to take that and just go with his own vision. And I mean, from what I've seen so far, definitely it's looking like it's in that direction. I mean, as far as the, I want to even start with the camera work. camera work's completely different. When I watch it, it reminds me of like NXT, like old school NXT. The background, not background, like the backstage stuff where people are interacting with each other. Like you had that shot last night of AJ Styles getting ready for his match, and you seen Control, as what we'll call them, that walk by him and kind of acknowledge him and stuff like that. And then Kevin Owens, and in that same shot, that Kevin Owens had that interview, and then you had Alexa Bliss and Asuka, like just like all these like weird nuances. No more shaky cams too. That was another thing. That's gone. I didn't notice that at all.
Goddamn, Bell.
So no more of that zoom in, zoom out when people are fighting, that type of thing. Man, I don't know. For me, it just feels fresh. Like it just definitely has a different feel. Probably one of the best Raws I've seen in a while. As far as like the match quality goes, I mean, we'll talk about it later, but Ciampa and Bobby Lashley, I was kind of scared of what that match would look like, as Styles Clash, as they call it. But they totally proved me wrong with that. And I have nothing else to say, but it was, I mean, we'll talk about SmackDown too, but SmackDown the same. It was just good. Just like I said, breath of fresh air. I'm proud to be a member of the WWE universe. Once again, a fine citizen in the universe.
J-Bone, give your take on Raw and just the changes of Triple H altogether.
Well, my buddy Max, he's my agent. He gave me a little bit of water. I got to drink here.
Oh man,
little pure life
model.
Anyways, first of all, Johan. It's Johan to you. No, but So, I mean, obviously, it's breathing unfresh of new life into the stale product. You realize how stale it really was. Just watching it, like, and it's just like, wow. One thing I think, myself included in this, and Tom has to as well too. I know we're going to talk about the returns, but people wanted to throw Nick Khan under the bus. Like he's the one that was cutting people, right? And Vince just, that's what it was. Yep, it was all Nick Khan's fault. Well, he's a goddamn CEO now, so you can't blame him. It's got to be. It had to have been Vince the whole time. It's me, Austin. It's me all along. I mean, it is. I am so excited to watch this. Like, this is the first time in a long time I've been like really excited to watch the WWE product. It's just remarkable. I mean, there's a reason why Hunter's in the place he is. It's not because he married the boss's daughter, or now the boss, right? Like, I quit calling her that. She's the boss. It's because he has a mind for this business. I mentioned it a little bit last week. Sam Roberts talked about this. He kind of went through a kind of chronological history of Triple H's career and how he got here. But one of the big things he talked about is back in, 2001, when he toured Squad. He was, of course, working to get back and better. But another thing he did is he parked himself in Connecticut and like sat there under the tutelage of McMahon to understand how to run the business. That's where it started.
Wow. And
so this isn't like a 10-year thing. This is a 25-year thing where he's gotten creative. And on top of that, he's a lifelong fan.
Right.
I mean, he's been known to be a lifelong fan. He knows what makes the audience. He could see talent. And the biggest thing now, is a lot of this talent in AEW that it was like, no chance they'll ever go there. Like your Darby Allins, your MJFs, your Sammy Guevara's. Maybe not so much Sammy. It looks like Sammy's pretty tied with AEW, but you catch my drift. Like some of these guys that were like, no way. Dante Martins, you keep underutilizing these people and not building them, and keep throwing your CM Punks on your TV, which granted they are the big stars, but keep throwing your CM Punks, your whoever else, Daniel Bryan's, your Cesaro's. You know what's going to end up happening is these people are going to go to greener pastures, because I can guarantee you, if you take Darby Allin and put him in a WWE Triple H, WWE ran by Triple H, he's going to be 10 times more of a star.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I somewhat worry for the independents a little bit, because we've had this kind of trickle down effect. And maybe that magnet is going to be pulled more towards WWE. So that does worry me a little bit in that aspect.
Right.
But I think if they just we were kind of talking about it off air, we keep doing what you got to do, keep going, doing however your business is, whether you're the NWAs, the Impacts, the AEWs, whatever, keep doing what you've been doing. It's been working, and don't worry about that. But as far as Triple H goes, chef's kiss, bravo.
Yeah, he's really doing a phenomenal job so far. It's funny, like the last few weeks, we've really been saying, like, we're expecting a slow kind of increase, like, things will change a little slowly. Like, don't expect much too soon, and boom, like, we're going to talk about it in a collar and elbow, but, so many changes right off the bat, both for the talent and for the production, like you were talking about, Marco. Maybe some more changes coming to the production side of things when a certain producer might be fired in a little bit, but we'll touch upon that in a little bit.
Sure you want to touch upon
that? We'll brush upon that situation.
Hey, we're making WWE great again, baby.
Oh my god!
Definitely don't want to dig too deep into that.
Well, yeah. Well, before you move on, I want to definitely talk about Triple H and how he calls himself. Obviously, he calls himself the Game, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not just a nickname. He's always said he was a student of the game, of the wrestling.
Right.
Game.
Yeah. That's why he took that name on.
Yeah, and this takes on so many more layers now because of what we're seeing now. As far as I had no idea that he was studying under Vince when he was injured. That really just adds so much to where we see him now today. And we've been mentioning it so many times about the people coming from AEW in, and it makes this more enticing. This is absolutely true. And you also have to think of it like, not to get into AEW, but we're starting to see a little bit of downfall for AEW. Not much, but you're starting to see some cracks. You get the
that season. There's a lot of cracks right now.
No, they have Mance Warner.
Oh God,
Mance Warner is going to save it.
They'll be fine.
As much as we don't want to credit Dave Meltzer or whatever it may be. He's the one that's reporting that Tony Khan, not the happiest person backstage. Kind of folding under some pressure. Having to beg certain legendary personalities backstage to stay, and bring in a lot of changes to the staff because of lack of communication between the likes of Jonathan Gresham and Joey Janela and all these different names. All of this is going to start taking an effect on AEW if they don't start changing now, because as fast as the WWE has changed, and as fast as you've seen so many changes both on TV and behind the scenes for WWE, AEW can make those exact same changes. We were talking before we went on air that Tony Khan needs to just stay on his path. Don't really worry about one-upping the WWE, which is true. But you can't just stay on the path that you're on without making the changes that need to be addressed.
Exactly. Yes.
All the things that we've talked about in the past, not building up to your pay-per-views, everything.
Right.
And now more than ever, you need to focus on those changes if you really want to keep things going straight ahead. Because like you said, J-Bone, there's greener pastures now. And even if you want to take it as, people in AEW who, if they're not doing well on Dynamite or Rampage, well, they could just go to ROH and they'll be fine there. Who knows if ROH is ever getting a TV deal at this point? I mean, we're all seeing what's going on with HBO Max and all that's happening with the merger with Discovery. Like, who even knows if that's going to happen? If they're not on national TV, they would have to be on the streaming service, and the streaming service is having its own issues. Whereas now we see Raw and SmackDown, and NXT is a very viable place for both main roster talent and younger guys to flourish in and get ready for that main roster spot. So that in itself is it makes WWE a lot more appealing. So not to get off topic there, but I think that Triple H.
But this is exactly why Vince had to step down, and then not because to make everything better, but we've talked about it now for like the last month, but the scandals surrounding him. Now we talked about 2 months ago. We're like, oh man, those TV deals are coming up. Oh, what's going to happen? But now they're going to make more money on those TV deals.
Yep.
If they keep it in line with what's going right now. What was it? $5 billion deals, something like those lines.
Something along that.
Well, yeah, I could see 6.5, 7 now.
Yeah, you got to think too. The other people that are making those deals are obviously Nick Khan, and I forget the other guy's name. It was basically like at the time it was Vince, Nick, and I forget the other dude's name. And they were kind of like Vince is obviously the final. It was
Nick Khan.
It was mainly Nick Khan, but there's another like financial dude that's kind of like they're kind of like a three-headed monster.
I think it was George Barrios or something like that.
Something like that. But now you have obviously Stephanie's that final say, and you still have Nick Khan making those deals. So like we kind of forget, like obviously we've lived in a world where Vince McMahon has been around for 40 plus years, so you don't know what obviously we don't know their business and what their business looks like and how they run their operations, but like we don't know what a business looks like without Vince McMahon, how like advertisers, how businesses see a WWE without Vince McMahon attached to it. But I mean, if Nick Khan, when did he join? What was it?
2019?
2019?
Yeah, I think so.
Right before the pandemic.
It was right around. It was right before UFC bought out. So sometime around that time.
And put it this way, they made more money during the pandemic than they did before the pandemic. So they were making more money while they were shut down, essentially, and not traveling. And this is all due. Obviously, we have to give Nick Khan his props on that one, making the Peacock deal, doing as you see now, the A&E deal with all these docuseries, different docuseries, not just on like they have a rivalries one now. They have ones on biographies on different wrestlers and stuff like that. So there's a lot of moving parts that go with this. And like we said, we talked about how we were kind of scared of like what the hell is going to happen if Vince McMahon stepped down. But like J-Bone said, I don't even think that's a thought going past anybody's head right now. I think it's just like it's a whatever. It's bring it on. We'll take out all advertisers and we're open. Our doors open right now.
Vince McMahon paying off paralegals is the best thing WWE has ever happened to WWE.
I mean, as weird as it is to say, like it definitely has shaken up things a lot.
It's time to shake things up.
It's time to shake things up around here.
Let's get the official drop in there. Last thing I'll say before we move on here, because we have one more big topic on Outside the Ropes to discuss is, like you just said, Marco, like we're so early into this Triple H Stephanie era that we really don't know what we're in for. As much as we've seen so many changes on the creative side of things 3 weeks in, we have no idea what the business side of things are going to look at, even not even talking about a few months from now, but like just that Clash at the Castle alone, like where are we going to be in what is it, 3 weeks from now? It's so many different moving parts that are moving very fast. And I'm just very excited to see all of these things changing for once and for all.
I'll tell you one thing. They're already doing that kickoff party for WrestleMania next year. That's something that's something you would have seen under Vince McMahon's tutelage. They're doing
they were pushing the WrestleMania tickets very hard.
Well, they're doing a party at the stadium. And
they have a lot of big celebrities coming in.
Yeah, there's a lot of big celebrities there too. So I mean,
Snoop Dogg, JoJo Siwa.
I'm not there. I'm not going to be there.
That's true. Yeah, we're not going to be
live via satellite.
RawDown should be there. What the hell?
Yeah, we should be covering that shit. But there are many other things to be covering, like this next story, which I'm sure we were all expecting to be covering at some point. But today is finally the day that we can say
You're fired.
You're fired.
I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here.
You're fired. I suppose you're fired. How the hell you gonna get fired on your day off?
Well, boss, your purse is really, really bright. I really enjoy it. Where did you get that? People power.
I wanted to find the little sound clip of Vince when Cena beat like Laurinaitis or something, and he has to say, John Laurinaitis. Yeah. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, John Laurinaitis is out of here. We knew it was coming. Let's be honest. With everything of his name being looped into the Vince paralegal scandal, he was quietly, what did they say? He was quietly suspended, or he was quietly just like,
I don't know. I thought he was let go, to be honest with you.
But now we can officially say that John Laurinaitis is out of the WWE. He was already replaced by Triple H in the talent relations portion, which we also forget that Triple H is, everything with Triple H being in head of creative, you completely forget that he has a whole nother important position in the WWE.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it all kind of ties in together, though. Really, but I mean,
it does.
And
Yeah.
I think it is important for him to hold both titles right now, and eventually, like, find someone to take over that he could trust to take over that head of talent relations, or it would be, I don't know. Hey, we look to the blood, look to your friends, we look to the clack.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't even think of that.
I thought he was already fired. I wonder what he's been doing. I wonder if he's just been riding his skateboard around Stanford.
Skateboard. He's been watching, or his little motorbike thing that he was rolling around when he was drunk.
Yeah.
The people
Been doing some sick grinds.
Yeah. Oh, good God. Like you said, I thought he was out of it already. Like, we mentioned that Triple H already took over his position, and they announced it on WWE.com. So you knew that it was going to happen. Obviously, we'll be seeing a lot of changes with John Laurinaitis out of here for the better, I would say. I mean, he was brought in during the pandemic, which I think a lot of people forget. Like, there was someone else in charge of talent relations during the pandemic, and they either stepped down or something happened, but John Laurinaitis was brought back in early in the pandemic, and that's when all the releases started happening. I thought it was just so poetic that you bring Johnny Ace in, then all these people start getting released, all of the Black Thursday or Friday or whatever the date was. So finally, after all of this controversy, we finally get John Laurinaitis out of control. And you're definitely going to see a lot of changes. Marco, what are your thoughts on Laurinaitis out of here?
Man, I was just actually, as you were talking, I was actually thinking of like all the list of names that were all that were released. I think on the Chick Foley show we spent like a lot of I think we read off like all the names that were released, and he was that guy that would do the call.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy that would come in and say, "Hey, you've been future endeavored," or whatever he would say. I'm not sure.
Listen, kid, it's a budget thing. We're not giving future endeavors.
Yeah.
People power.
The worst era in professional wrestling.
Yeah,
So,
but yeah, man, like you said, it was eventually going to happen. I mean, you're going to slowly see a lot of the Vince McMahon regime start disappearing.
Yeah.
I'm assuming good old KD will be out of it soon.
Durant?
Kevin Dunn. I'm assuming.
yeah, I was like,
Oh no, not KD, not Kevin. I mean, you never know. I mean, he's failed in some options right now. He might show
Stephanie's
up
gonna make a good trade for the Nets. That'll make KD happy.
hey, you want to be our new producer, pal?
Fuck Sean Marks. I'm on to work for Stephanie.
Oh my god.
But yeah, there's that, and then there's obviously Bruce Pritchard. He's still a question mark. I'm not sure what's gonna happen with Bruce. So, I mean,
well, I know that Bruce is working on creative just under Triple H now.
Oh man, he must love that.
Hey, you know those something that wrestles how fire they're gonna be once he gets fired.
Oh man,
Conrad's gonna be happy. He'll be able to get Bruce all the time to do his podcast. No more of those. No more of those rerun episodes.
I know, right? But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's always sad to see someone like lose their position, but not so much in this situation.
Yeah.
Due to the nature of what happened, but we wish him luck in his future endeavors, I guess, right?
Boom.
I guess that's the way the
Your
cookie
endeavor.
crumbles. Yeah, I mean, this all ties back to what I was saying before of like, you don't really know what's going to change or when it's going to change until it actually does change. You know, I mentioned it with the creative, like, would we see anything happen soon? And boom, everything happens. And then, you know, this isn't really a big factor into the whole, like, you know, will we see things change very quickly? Because we knew that Laurinaitis was out of here. But it's just the fact of now everything is on the table. Like, anything is up for grabs, especially, you know, Vince's guys, as Marco mentioned, just getting shit canned. And with the news, and we were going to briefly touch on it, very briefly, of Kevin Dunn, you know, the right after the 2020 election, having a Make America Great Again flag on the production truck. It's not confirmed if he was the one that put it, but I mean,
It's
Kevin Dunn,
it was his
production truck having a flag nonetheless is up for
Hey, beavers
discussion.
can vote too.
true. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
all of that taken into consideration, that makes you really question, you know, will we see changes behind the scenes of the people who are around? And, you know, the time frame of that still remains to be seen. But if we've seen anything so far in this Triple H and Stephanie McMahon regime, things can happen sooner than we're expecting. So don't be surprised if you're starting to see a lot of these quote unquote Vince guys starting to get kicked out earlier on than we thought. Or they could just be writing out their contracts and then they leave. But nonetheless, I do think there will be a lot of changes behind the scenes as it pertains to WWE's staff. J-Bone, any thoughts?
I think we kind of just said it all. You know, like I said, I think Bruce, you know, it has to happen. You know, I mean, you know, I thought, you know, when Bruce got, you know, signed up, you know, I thought it was going to be like, oh, okay, you know, maybe we'll get some fresh air then. But it's just unless it was just like Vince just holding them down or, you know, doing whatever that, you know, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but you know, it's just time to clean house. I hate to say it. I don't want anybody to lose their job, but clean house. And look, that's what happens when you restructure a corporation, you know.
Yep.
Like they that's anything, like any type of club, anything you're going to be in. You're going to be president. Guess what? That president or the person in charge is going to put in their, you know, the people they trust.
Yeah.
So
You got to do a lot of, in this situation, they have to do it a little bit faster. Like I said before, due to the nature of, you know, why everyone is losing their jobs.
Time is drawing near.
Yeah, so like, yeah, if it was something like a corporate restructure, that's a little bit different. But where, you know, there's a scandal involved, they're gonna like you guys said, they're gonna start moving. There's gonna be a lot of moving pieces, a lot faster than that would normally take. But I'll say this: pictures like that and the news of Kevin Dunn don't just leak on accident. That's
I don't think the Vince McMahon story leaked by accident.
Yeah, that especially that stuff that whoever you know gave that to, you know, Fightful, they're definitely, you know, just trying to, you know, move along.
Well, didn't they keep it a secret for a while? I heard something about that.
Yeah, so basically they had that whole during that whole like the elections and stuff like that. They, you know, WWE had that like no politics
Right.
policy, like we don't talk politics, blah blah blah. And I guess, you know, that was whatever Kevin Dunn did, that was his, you know, answer to that. Like, yeah, basically we're gonna talk politics. But I guess it was happening though. Like there was stories, you know, we didn't really cover them on the Chick Foley show because we're not gonna talk politics, but like there were stories that you could read about, like, you know, people talking about their, you know, their affiliations and who they're voting for and their like,
it's just so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like imagine like where you go to work and you go to work and you see in the break room a candidate's signage, you know.
Yeah,
like,
it's
it's so crazy. Like,
yeah,
and it's posted by the one of the top dogs. Like, I'm just gonna be like, All right.
It's like such a ridiculous point that you're trying to prove or something.
Like that's the first thing. Like they tell you like HR in the HR book.
Yeah.
You don't talk politics. You don't talk religion.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. And, obviously everything is posted on Fightful. You can make your own assumptions about everything that's going on there, but this could also lead to some big repercussions for Kevin Dunn, as we have already seen repercussions for John Laurinaitis, kind of tying it back to Johnny.
He's a beaver, so he doesn't understand.
Hey, make America great again.
Yeah. Beavers don't understand human stuff, so you have to give him a pass on that.
But nonetheless, Johnny Ace, have fun doing whatever you're gonna do next.
Thank you.
It's gonna enjoy those Total Divas reruns.
I'm gonna be in divorce court later because I begged too many paralegals. So
man.
Mama Bella's she's not too happy.
Oh boy. Well, nonetheless, I think it is time, before we get into our next segment, just to do a little quick one. I'll do a little quick lightning round. Just a little quick lightning round. So Marco actually brought this one up into our chat today, that The Rock is getting involved with Vice. Did a whole little signing deal with what is it called? $7
$7 Productions. Yeah.
And basically it's going to be a Dark Side of the Ring-esque series focusing on the territories. And I think this is a really cool little thing here. Idea. And you are each going to have 30 seconds to speak your piece on all of this. Marco, you were the one to bring it up first, so I will let you go first. Your time starts now.
Yay. So Tales of the Territories. Can't wait for it. Good thing about it is, The Rock has a partnership, or not partnership, but a relationship with the WWE. So they'll have access to some archival footage that, Dark Side of the Ring. We don't have to see those. No, I do love the reenactments, but we might be able to actually see, actual footage of these matches and these personalities that they talk about. So I'm super excited about it.
What?
All right. Excellent job there. J-Bone, I'll let you go next on this one. Your time starts now.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, basically anything that The Rock does turns into gold, all right? This is going to be awesome. Finally, The Rock has come back to Vice. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, I love wrestling documentaries. I'm a sucker for it all. I absorb all this knowledge. I get all this knowledge from wrestling documentaries and that's why
That is your time.
Hey, take your pills, young Anthony.
I left my alarm on for this one. My time starts now. Going back and doing before our time, I've learned a lot about the territories and how Vince just royally messed everything up. For the better or for worse is up to you to decide. But nonetheless, this show, for certain, for younger fans such as myself, will give a good perspective into the wrestling world around that time. I cut myself off a little too early there, but it'll be cool. Here's my alarm.
Take your pills.
There it is.
Take your Blue Chew.
We are not sponsored by Blue Chew.
Blue Chew Chew.
Blue Chew Chew. All right, let's get into our next segment on tonight's episode. Let's get inside the ring.
Collar and elbow.
Speaking of Blue Chew, goddamn, pal. Who needs it after watching that?
What is a collar without an elbow? It is time to get into our next segment on the night. Well, we weren't sure how we were going to go about this because, as we've been saying, all these quick changes happening in WWE and a lot of signings. We talked about Dakota Kai last word, Dakota Sky, if you're Bailey. More on that in a little bit.
Bro.
all these names, Triple H favorites. We weren't sure who was going to be brought back, but boy, oh boy, are we getting some names already, which is why we have introduced a new segment or a little mini segment here on the RawDown. And so let us introduce or reintroduce, if you will, our first re-signing. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome. Where the hell have you been? I'm back.
Hello there.
I'm back.
I'm going back to the big show.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Welcome back, Karrion Kross. That was it. Shout out to Chad for making all these little bumpers.
Oh
He
my
is
god,
He's
that
a
had me
goat.
dying.
phenomenal
That was
at these. Speaking of Chad, he also is in the chat tonight, and he says, what a lot of fans said for years and years, it's going to change for the better until Vince steps down or dies. All of those fans were spot on. Triple H is a breath of fresh air. Couldn't agree with you more. And this is a perfect example of this. Karrion Kross. So the last time that we saw Karrion Kross on WWE television, he was dressed up as a I don't know what the fuck you want to call that.
A bondage,
some type
guy.
of bondage. Ridiculous.
S&M character.
He went through my Saturday night closet.
He's my Saturday night closet. He's wearing something that I would make on SmackDown versus Raw 2010. First wrestling game. It was a fun time. But nonetheless, we thought that was the last we would ever see of Karrion Kross. You know, getting a new entrance, getting new gear, some gladiator type get up, no Scarlet. And then SmackDown comes along. And then Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns have a nice little face-off, hyping up their match of Clash at the Castle. And then Drew is about to get in the ring to have a good old-fashioned brawl with Roman. And we hear the music. And the black
Great
and white.
reenactment. I'm sure we won't get flagged on YouTube.
Yeah, I hope no copyright strike. I've been working on that one. You know, the black and white screen comes on, and Scarlett's at the top of the ramp. And then here comes Karrion Kross to attack Drew McIntyre. Bashes his head into the steel steps. Gives a good forearm that both Sneed and Chad hate. I wonder if they like that forearm. I know that they hate Karrion Kross's version of that.
Forearm.
I thought it was a solid one, but
It's a pretty
Wasn't bad.
snug and stiff.
a little snug and sniff action going on. But nonetheless, Karrion Kross and Scarlett are back on the main roster, and this is good. This is some good stuff. Marco, you got the crazy eyes going. You can start it off.
And they can say hospital. They don't have to say medical facility anymore. Did you know that? They actually said hospital. Roman Reigns said hospital.
WWE social media is still saying local medical facility, though. So I don't know if they got the memo yet, but the intern at WWE, you can say hospital. Save yourself the extra characters on Twitter.
Yeah, you can say wrestling. You can say we didn't talk about this, but yeah,
go crazy.
Go crazy. All those bad words, naughty words.
Say belt.
Say belt. No, Cody's gonna have a field day.
I could say Chris Benoit. All right, maybe not that.
What are they gonna say? They get, like when Cody comes back, it's gonna be, you know, like when the Street Profits, they have the cups fall. It's gonna be a bunch of belts just falling from the ceiling. A bunch of Cody belts. Oh,
Cody belts.
But no, man. Yeah, this is a shocking turn of events at the end of SmackDown. This is like the first big change that I've noticed from Triple H. Television wise, SmackDown was, SmackDown, and I did kind of notice like the story with Sami Zayn, and I think he might be a factor in this Clash of the Castle match.
We're going to talk about Sami Zayn later on in the show. That's definitely a topic I want to hit on.
So there was that storyline throughout. So like Triple H is good at like I said, if you watch the old NXT stuff, a story carrying throughout the show, and that's what they used to do. Like during the Attitude Era, obviously there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. They had a lot of brawls, a lot of hodgepodge as they call it. But like there was like everyone had a storyline, and all those storylines carried throughout the show. And you're seeing this now, and I'm curious to see what they do with this. I mean there are rumors that they might be splitting the belts up. I'm not sure if you guys read that. Like,
Saw that.
just to get the belts off of Roman, or one of the belts at least. I mean, it's looking like Karrion Kross is that one of those guys, especially with the TikTok and she put the what do you call it, the hourglass in front of him, and yeah, man, I think Roman's days are numbered. It's coming down.
I don't know about that, but
Go ahead, J-Bone.
I don't know about that. Calm down, pal. Okay.
Well, you gotta think. If you have two, so make it. So if they do that, say, a little fantasy book, triple threat match, right? Do the opposite of the winner takes all. Like one person can beat, like Roman can lose the belts by two. Like it would take two guys to beat Roman. That would be like that would be like the only way to beat Roman. Like it can't be one guy beating Roman right now because he's too unstoppable. If two guys beat him, then that's different. I mean, it's like it took two dudes to like take those belts off of Roman.
But we already saw that at WrestleMania 37. With Edge and
well, first of all, we have to acknowledge that the ratings wizard is in the chat. I hope it's not who I think it is, but he has made an appearance.
We're live, pal. My co-host of the Long Balls.
The Long Balls.
Can I say that? Can I say that? I don't know.
A little teaser. Chad says it's no hidden blade from Osprey, but Kross snugged that one up tight. Loved his return. Yes, Chad was very he's been very optimistic about the Triple H WWE, which I'm very happy.
I've noticed that.
Chad is slowly becoming a member of the universe.
Welcome
I see
aboard.
It happen. Welcome aboard. Join the bandwagon before it before it gets too fast to join.
All right.
Big Bone Man, please give us your thoughts on Karrion Kross.
Look, I was not a fan of the way Kross was presented, like in NXT. I know I'm a minority on this.
Really?
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
It was just, okay, cool entrance. All right, what else? Now, I know Chad has said I've never seen any of his independent stuff, admittedly, and I know Chad has said repeatedly, like, Killer Kross, he's the fucking man. I respect Chad's opinion a lot of times, so I could be wrong, but I just maybe it was just the time, NXT or where I was presented. I don't know, but I was just like,
to me, I understand what you're saying, and like the presentation is cool and everything, but it doesn't resonate in the end. I feel like this is kind of like a Cody and AEW situation where it's the right guy in just the wrong place. Like if you took Karrion Kross how he was in NXT and brought him to the main roster, I feel like it would be a lot better of a situation. But the fact that he was in NXT with a lot of the work rate guys like Cole and O'Reilly, and they were getting the push, Gargano and all of them, it felt a little out of place. I love the Karrion Kross gimmick and his presentation and everything, and I thought that they royally messed it up when he got to the main roster. But
I think they did the opposite. I think that gimmick he had on the main roster would have been suited for the NXT. His gimmick was, like you said, kind of too big for NXT.
Yeah,
it was a main roster gimmick.
No, you're right.
With the black and white screen, with the her coming out first and doing the fall and pray and all that stuff like that. The smoke and like that's like a main stage like character. That's not a NXT. Like that's like it's way bigger than NXT for that type of presentation.
I get that.
Like no one in NXT had that. Like who else had in NXT had that like big time like screen?
Maybe he would work in 2.0.
Robert Roode.
Yeah.
With the, I guess.
I mean, not like Supernatural. Aleister Black.
Right. Well, yeah.
But it's a different.
I didn't like his bald head either. I'm not gonna lie.
What do you got against bald heads?
Dang.
Like it's just
pal.
At least get some like some tanner on that thing, man.
At least he came back with the hair on this time.
Yeah.
Good for him.
But like I said, I wasn't a fan of his presence on NXT. And of course, definitely hated his run main roster, but that was not his fault at all.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling some good things on this. So, and look, I've actually seen a lot of his interviews he's done since he got let go, a couple months ago. And actually, like, dude is like really, really knowledgeable. Not that I didn't doubt that, but it was just like I was really impressed. So, with all that being said, like I said, I wasn't a fan, but I'm very, 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 very optimistic with this, and I like how they presented him, and just thrusted him in the main event, and that's the way to do it. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you're already getting reports that Karrion Kross is going to be positioned as the number 2 heel on SmackDown. So I think that in itself is definitely a good thing to look towards. Let me just read this comment from Chad real quick. He says, NXT Kross was a tad watered down version of Killer Kross. The more creative freedom that guy has, the more that he will flourish. Yeah, that kind of ties into my opinion here. And it's the fact that when we saw Karrion Kross in NXT, it was definitely something that could have worked on the main roster. Everything with Scarlett and the entrance, and that was kind of one of the main things that I really wanted to get with Karrion Kross, was just that WrestleMania entrance, because he had the look, he has the presentation, he has everything. And then for some reason they bring him up to the main roster. I loved the Jeff Hardy stuff, but of course no one else did, because that's opening a can of worms right there. We could go back to the Raw reviews. Go back to the Raw reviews when we.
I do remember you saying that now.
I mean, I don't get why you would like that, but
it was great. Nonetheless, I don't like what they did with him continuing, although albeit a very short time frame there. But then, of course, he gets released, and he goes and he does some of the indies. He was literally just on Ric Flair's show the same week that they brought him back in, which I thought was incredible. Nonetheless, yes, Jeff Hardy is a pawpaw. You're gonna have to tune in tomorrow to talk about Jeff Hardy, although he'll not be there.
Hawk is a pawpaw.
Oh,
I'm sleepy. I'm sleepy.
It's 11 o'clock. A little earlier. That would be great, fellas. Yeah. Anyway, we have to get Hawk on an episode of RawDown. That would be or Raw. He would be great.
He's too scared to watch WWE. So.
I think he is. I think he definitely is. Look, nonetheless, let me get back to Karrion Kross here. I am very, very optimistic about what we have just seen right then and there from Karrion Kross. And this kind of ties into what I wanted to bring up here. And it's the fact that multiple times we have seen NXT call-ups, or signings for this matter, brought into the main roster and immediately put into the main event scene. One of the key examples of that would be Keith Lee, when he was called up and he was immediately slotted into the the Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre feud. For some reason, did not need him, but they slotted him in there anyways. And because of that, because they made him lose and do all of this, slotted down the card very fast. This is the first case in a long time that I can confidently say that I am very optimistic about an NXT. We could basically call it a call-up. I mean, it's a signing, but it's a call-up at the same time. I'm very optimistic about an NXT guy being brought up and immediately placed into the main event scene, and I feel like it could work. Number 2 guy on SmackDown, you need that heel. Roman's not going to be there every week, so Karrion Kross kind of filling that load. Feuding with Drew McIntyre, doing all of this. I'm very happy that they brought him back. I feel like, you knew that he was going to be back with a few other guys that I could see them funneling back in with Triple H under control. I think it's only going to be a positive look here. And of course, as Chad says, if you give him that creative freedom, I think he could run with it. But something I want to just bring up real quick, and this will be the final comment before we move on to the other person that we welcomed back yesterday. So now we're starting to see Karrion Kross immediately brought up into this main event scene. Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns. Do you think it's too early? Do you think we should have waited until after Clash at the Castle?
No.
Because now you would have to think now that Karrion Kross gets involved in the Drew versus Roman match. Should that have stayed a singles match?
Maybe or maybe not.
We triple threat.
Maybe or maybe not. We don't know. We don't know that. And but first of all, like, it's pretty clear that they are They're trying to stomp out AEW here,
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Is everyone here a wrestling fan or sports entertainment?
I mean,
Oh,
there's really no. There's really no. Who are they? There's no one stomping out anyone. I mean, AEW wasn't really.
They're having this show. They're really setting their sights on this. Now, was that probably, was that the case 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? Probably not. But I mean, I think right now that is the sights.
It's definitely not their like primary focus, but you'd have to imagine it's in the back of their head. Like,
I mean, they're taking like little shots, they're taking like little digs. They called it Mistake by the Lake last night. You heard that? But they're also trying to really build this show. They're doing a way better job at building the show than All Out.
There's no build to All Out. You can't even compare it.
We got Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara. Oh, thank God.
They started building Clash at the Castle back 2 weeks ago by now. That
was even before that.
I'm sure it was before SummerSlam.
It
was before SummerSlam. And SummerSlam and Drew did a big promo about Catch the Castle all in SummerSlam.
I mean, and that was more than 7-8 weeks of build. We're narrowing in on 3 to 4 weeks of build for All Out, and we still only have one match actually confirmed. There's some matches that are rumored, but come on now, there's only one match confirmed for this card, and we just got a few more matches confirmed for the Clash of the Castle stuff. It's night and day here.
Yeah. You got to think too. Clash of the Castle is going to be that first big show back at Wales. Was it 30 years? I think they said so. It's almost like it's going to be it's going to be presented as a WrestleMania event, level event. So expect something big to happen. I mean, right now with Triple H, I'm expecting a lot of crazy things to happen.
You know what just popped in my mind too? Just I wonder what's gonna happen to the Saudi shows.
Oh wow, that's a whole nother.
I know that's all, but
we have to dig into that.
We'll have to come back to that one, but
there is one scheduled for what?
Yeah, there is one confirmed.
Okay, but that was already on the books.
Yeah.
I feel like they bring in too much money.
But I think they have a deal in place, where they have to do so many shows. Anyways, that's besides the point.
It's whatever at this point. But
it's fine.
Any final thoughts on Karrion Kross? Because I want to get to this next name.
No, but we'll talk about. It'll come into play in the next one.
Yeah, I figured this was going to be where your little theory comes in here, your Austin theory, if you will.
Who's that? Who's that?
Who's that? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Here's another name.
Going A-Town down.
Is that a ghost?
Fell down.
He turned into John Cena. You can't see him.
That's long-term storytelling right there for you folks. Anyways, it is time to welcome back one more name into the WWE, and it's a name that I don't think a lot of us were expecting to hear, but here he is.
Welcome back. Hello. Welcome. Where the hell have you been? I'm back.
Hello there.
I'm back.
I'm going back to the big show.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
I'm going back to the big show.
Kenny Powers, everyone.
Let me read some comments real quick before we get into this one. Chad says they're shooting serious angles, building blocks for story.
Fucking serious angles.
All right, you got it.
Oh man, Trips has got him going nuts right now.
Yeah, that's all we want.
Super
Wrestling,
excited.
Cool characters and compelling stories. The matches are gravy. They're gravy, if you will. I call it soft, but matches are saucy. AEW needs to take notes from Trips.
Wow. It's big word right there. Wow, that's a compliment right there.
Hawk says, don't tell the Chads there's no buildup. They get angry. And Sunnyside Action Figure Depot is in the chat with us. This crowd is going to be a shoot 70,000 and bigger than WrestleMania, but they will downplay the size so it doesn't beat Dallas. Crowd is going to be enormous. That's
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
True back, double titles. At the end of it.
It's not happening.
Let's stay on topic here because, of course, we had another very soon return to the WWE. Throughout the night, we were seeing a lot of little hints. Not a lot of people were catching on to them, but some people were. during a Kevin Owens promo, there was a car crash behind where it was happening, and Dewdrop and Nikki ASH were looking on, which I thought was such a weird visual. And then during a little women's segment backstage, you had some security guards running past the segment, which, what's going on here?
Those are AEW wrestlers.
Oh yeah, they were running. They were late for their match with Wardlow.
They're off duty. Are they off duty AEW security guards?
Yeah, right. But then with all of this chaos, we finally get, if you're watching on the video version on YouTube, you get to this screen of AJ Styles with kind of looking over his shoulder in the crowd, and security were obviously restraining someone, and then all of a sudden they take his hood off, and it was Dexter Loomis. Dexter Loomis from NXT. Some may know him as Samuel Shaw from TNA, but he has returned to the WWE. This was his official first main roster appearance, and now we have yet another name from Triple H's, regime, his NXT that is brought in. And you could see right then and there that he's already an Impact player, main eventing Raw, if you will, in the final segment. This is interesting. J-Bone, you said you had a little bit of a theory on this one, so I'll let you take the floor.
So I think this could be maybe some type of possible invasion angle. But with invasion angles, you have to have a leader. You have to have a third man, brother. Okay, that's not the Hulkster. Calm down. But this person has been teasing something a lot on social media, and I'm thinking the leader could be none other than Bray Wyatt. Maybe he starts the Wyatt Six, and these guys are a part of it. Maybe you get a tag team involved. And then maybe another female wrestler coming in the play. What you guys think?
I'll take this one, Marco, real quick. I'm going to say I don't like it, and here's why. The reason I don't like it is because you bring back all of these guys. They all have a place on the roster in Triple H's WWE. You could easily do Kross versus McIntyre, Kross versus Reigns, the triple threat match. He has his thing. You could do AJ versus Dexter for the United States Championship. Go with that stalker angle. He has his place on the roster. Bray could come back and do some type of faction, but I feel like it would have to be a situation of like what Bayley's doing right now, like bringing in some underutilized talent and doing that. I wouldn't want to take people who are doing their own thing and have spots on the card and just put them all together. And it could be a cool idea to, have this kind of spooky faction, kind of like the Ministry, if you will. But I don't see it working that well. They could obviously, pull it off perfectly. And I do expect Bray Wyatt to come back, but I don't know if bringing back all of these names is the way to go about it. Marco, what are you thinking?
Bringing back these names, you mean like Karrion Kross or Dexter? Are we still talking about the Dexter Loomis coming back? Or
yeah, well, what are your thoughts on Dexter Loomis coming back? And are you buying in to J-Bone's theory?
I like J-Bone's theory. I'm gonna side with him on this because they shouldn't do any more there's too many underutilized stables going on. You have Bayley in the underutilized ladies. You have Judgment Day. And you keep on doing, Bray Wyatt comes in and it's underutilized people.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt comes in with Dexter
Fair
Loomis.
point. That's a fair point.
Yeah,
that's a good
it's going to be Dexter Loomis. If Bray Wyatt is behind us, I mean, just thinking about the way it was shot throughout the whole night, like that. I mean, I like to give Triple H all the credit in the world, but that was almost like movie level type of storytelling.
Oh yeah,
like all the the little nuances like that you didn't pick up on, like all this stuff happening in the back. You're just watching Raw. You're watching Kevin Owens cut his promo. You're watching all the things that are put in front of you. You're not seeing the car crash in the background, or noticing the cops run by and all that type of stuff. Like at first, so like there is some. It seems like there is some lengthy storytelling happening with this. And I don't think it's just Dexter Loomis. not that Dexter Loomis is a talent, like he's not like a big talent or anything like that, but something that intricate there's more to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's more people involved than Dexter Loomis. And I'm signing with J-Bone here. I think that's a possibility. Dexter Loomis is there to be the killer, essentially, not to be the underutilized talent.
Well, he does have to be. I think he's got to be connected in some way. I feel like it could be.
Yes,
because Karrion Kross, not to Bray Wyatt, excuse me, but to these two guys got to be connected in some way because Karrion Kross tweeted an emoji of a butcher.
Yep, he did.
Yeah,
and that was it. And now whether or not they could be just friends, and he's just excited for his buddy to be back on TV. You know, I don't really know. I don't really know their relationship, but it very well could be. I mean, they were both in NXT together around the same time. You know, experienced a lot of the same, bullshit. With being let go, and they may have been even let go at the same time. I can't remember right now off the top of my head, but they were pretty close to it. So they could be just good buddies. I don't know, but like shoot buddies, like we're shoot buddies, right?
Yeah. No, we're work buddies. Chemistry is on camera and nothing off. But yeah, no, you guys bring up some great points. I didn't even think about that. We do have a lot. My favorite stable is an underutilized stable. Goddamn.
Yeah, it's a horrible stable too. Can't wait for it to go away and bring in a Wyatt 6.
It's going strong. You already seen the. I mean, we're probably going to talk about it anyway.
We're actually not going to talk about it tonight, so I do want to say real quick. Yeah, we there's some other big things we got to talk about.
Yeah, because it sucks. When we don't want the ratings.
There's some
we're going to be talking about 2 weeks from now when Edge fights Damian Priest in Toronto. That's going to be good, pal. Dude, they are saving the story, and I'm all for it.
No, it is.
Let's stay on topic here, please.
Real quick, I do love that Rhea Ripley's beating up Dominic every week.
That's great.
That's the part of the storyline where
part of the story, bud.
You still, and then you get. I
think you're buying in.
There's so many different things happening with that storyline. You have, you have Edge and the Mysterios in their battle against Judgment Day, but you also have Dominic Mysterio and his battle against Edge.
Ray, Dominic
battle. Like there's all these.
Y'all don't like it.
What more can they give you, J-Bone, to like get invested in this storyline? There's like
I need someone to step up.
Exactly.
Listen, let me just finish off on this Dexter talk real quick. I'm all for it as well. I do think there's more to the story. For me, Dexter Loomis, he was a character that always would have worked on the main roster, but I feel like, with the way that he was positioned in NXT, he was always a mid-card guy immediately. Yeah. This shows you how just quick you could turn someone into a main event talent. And of course, he's not like a main event guy right away, but he's definitely in that upper mid-card echelon. He's going up against AJ Styles and being in the main event segment of Raw. I think this is all leading to great things for Dexter Loomis, 100%. If he's involved with the, with some type of stable, which very well could happen, or, if he stays on his own, I think the stalker type of angle could work as well. And final thing I'll say is just Marco alluded to it, like the way it was filmed was perfect. Like usually you'll have make it into a show like, let's put a ski mask on him and let's get right up with the camera up on his face and let's have
what's going on back there.
The referees pulling back. No, they had like arena security. They were barely filming it. Like this was exactly how it needed to be presented. You barely saw Dexter Loomis's face, and I think it all works very well. I'm excited to see what the future is for Dexter. Just some quick comments here. Hawk says, hilarious that Triple H has been running WWE for 2 weeks and everyone is acting like he is the Messiah. Well, Hawk, you don't watch the product.
Yeah, so, he is a Messiah. I mean,
he is.
He's
the gamer.
He's the King of Kings.
He is the King of Kings.
All praise due to the King of Kings. I mean, what else is there to say? Sorry.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
he tops Wizards. Let's just put it that way.
He does. He's the King of Kings and he's the King of Wizards.
Yeah, I would rather root for a king or a Messiah than I would root for a wizard.
Fake wizards, either fake wizards like Hawk or real wizards like Chris Jericho. He tops.
Yeah.
I'm a wizard.
Tyson is in the chat with us, and he says, I don't know if you have talked about it yet. Have we seen the last of Ezekiel?
We'll
that is
talk
something
about
that we will be talking about, so stay tuned. And real quick, before we move on from this awful human being, he says, it's been 2 weeks. You're making things up. You want it to be good. Life Path 11. Google it. All right. Can we block him? Is there a way?
No,
that
just don't show his comments.
just let him do his conspiracy theories in the comments there.
Just let him do his QAnon stuff or whatever.
QAnon.
Look, it adds to our engagement, so type away. It helps our numbers out. Let's do another quick one. I have another one in the getting ready to go here. Let's do a quick little lightning round. I have a little bit of time for a quick little lightning round. John Cena has been doing a lot of appearances in Wales. He was there for the Comic-Con, whatever the equivalent of that for Wales is. And he basically announced that he will not be competing at Clash at the Castle. I think it's a little strange, so I wanted to present this as a lightning round question. J-Bone, we'll start with you on this one. Do you see John Cena making an appearance at Clash of the Castle? And do you feel that Cena's lack of an appearance hurts the card in any way? Your time starts now.
No and no, basically. I mean, I didn't even think about Cena being there, but look, this is clearly, I mean, Triple H is trying to push this youth movement right now, which is what we've been asking for the longest time. And I don't think they need him. I mean, the card's gonna be stacked. That's, by the way, that's Hawk's favorite WWE superstar is John Cena. Make sure you send him all of the love on that. So.
What?
That's at Pastor Hawk, by the way.
That is at Pastor Hawk on Instagram. Send him all of your hate. I'll actually take this one next up. My time starts now. Yeah, I got to agree with J-Bone on this one. I don't see Cena making an appearance. I don't think it hurts, harms, helps. Well, it will definitely help, but I don't think it hurts the card whatsoever. Focus on the talent that you have. You just brought back Karrion Kross. You're focusing on this Bayley group. There's a lot of other things that you could do than, resort back to, John Cena. So I'll have to say,
What? Yeah, Bob Barker, pick up your mic. Good God. Good God.
Sorry. Anyways, Marco, your time starts now.
Yeah, my time is up. Your time is up. My time is not up. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I don't see. I see him maybe if he does show up, maybe just for a quick pop and that's it. He's not needed at all. I always need him because he is the greatest wrestler in the history of wrestling.
Sure.
I mean, he's everyone's favorite too. So I mean, yeah, that's it.
What? And there it
Take
is.
your pills. Take your Blue Chew.
That's my wake up alarm.
Anyway, Blue Chew alarm.
Not sponsored. All righty. Well, usually this next segment. Well, actually, let's get into the segment before I prelude it here. Here's our next segment on the RawDown.
Who won the week?
Like I was saying before I jumped the gun here, look, usually we end the segment and it's a little quick. Raw 1, SmackDown 1, but we kind of put our brains together and we're realizing that there's a lot to talk about on Raw and SmackDown as of late. So this is going to be our third, lengthy topic on the night. Basically, we're going to take 3 topics from Raw, 3 topics from SmackDown, break them down, give it a few minutes each. We don't really want to go too deep into each topic here. And then we will officially find out who won the week. So let's get right into this. I want to start off with Raw here. And since Tyson alluded to it, we'll start off with this one here. We had Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel on Raw yesterday. And honestly, when I saw the graphic, I was a little nervous that we were just going to have another match, but I didn't realize there wasn't an official payoff to the KO and Ezekiel feud here. And boy, oh boy, did we get a payoff.
I could smell that thing coming a mile away. I even said it in the text group. I was like, uh-oh, he's got the jobber entrance.
Yeah.
Like it was coming. Like,
yeah.
So Kevin Owens comes out, trips on the stairs, but recovered well, and he just beats the hell, the shit, the piss, everything out of Ezekiel, power bombs him on the apron, and seemingly we have seen the end of Ezekiel. Just a real quick shout out to the Rev Ron Hunt, who was this security guard. I was not sure if that was him, but he is a part of Shane Taylor Promotions. The Rev Ron Hunt made an appearance at Invictus Pro. Great independent wrestler. Shout out to him for getting that
nice
that little job there. Speaking of job, Ezekiel. So look, Kevin Owens seemingly back to being the killer that
the
he
prize
was
fighter,
as, the prize fighter, the real Kevin Owens, as he put it in his promo. Marco, quick thoughts on Kevin Owens. Where do you see him going?
Oh man, I'm hoping he gets his position back into the main event scene and goes for some gold at some point. I mean, it's been a long time. It's been 6 years actually to the day.
Well,
not to the day almost, but August 29th.
Yeah, 6 years.
August 29th, 2016 is when he won the Universal Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And who helped him?
Triple H.
Yeah, Triple H, the King of Kings, the Messiah.
The game.
So I'm hoping this he stays on his course of heel Kevin Owens or whatever anti-hero, however you want to position him. And he just gets back in that that title position, man. Definitely. I mean, I'm thinking it's gonna happen at some point. He's gonna be that like main heel on Raw, besides Rollins anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen all year now, like kind of sillier Kevin Owens. Like, he's tapped into the humorous side. Everything he's done with Texas and teaming up with Seth Rollins, and of course the stuff with Ezekiel, and it's all been great stuff. But we haven't seen serious Kevin Owens, and I feel like they flipped the switch so quick, and we see this side of Kevin Owens right away. The promo right then and there proved the quote-unquote real Kevin Owens is back. So I'm excited to see where he goes from here. J-Bone, I'll let you talk about Kevin Owens, but also want to ask you, where do you see Ezekiel now? Is it done? Are we getting back Elias? What are your thoughts on everything? Give me both sides here.
What does WWE stand for?
Walk with Elias.
There you go, pal. Yeah, whenever I saw Ezekiel rivaling in pain, I gotta think of that Mike Tyson interview he did, where they said, "Did you hurt your back?" Yeah. What'd you do? Spinal. Spinal. But anyways, yeah. I mean, like I said, I was texting the group like, Ezekiel got the jobber entrance, and then I saw Kevin Owens come out like, it's about to be a squash, bro. So you can even tell, like, first of all, you kind of tell like his hair's a little bit longer, Ezekiel, and he's got the sideburns coming out. He's like got the 5 o'clock shadow.
It takes so long though.
It's gonna take I don't know. Like I could grow something like this in about 3 weeks.
True.
It he can do it. But he's and they could do the fake beard like they did for the little segment they had a couple of weeks ago.
It's funny if he's wrestling and like it falls off or something like that.
Yeah. What about Kevin Owens? Do you see like kind of a killer path for him? Will we see elements of comedy? Do you think we're just getting serious Kevin Owens?
Serious KO. Like he's out here to fuck shit up, So simple as that. Like he ain't here to fart around. He ain't here to play games. It's serious KO, and we're about to see a killer in our hands.
I think we're due for that type of Kevin Owens as well. I mean, as great as comedy KO has been, we've kind of been missing that serious edge to him. And, after main event, the comedy got him so far, like main evented WrestleMania, tag team with Seth Rollins, been one of the MVPs of this year alone. But now with the serious gimmick, I feel like he's going to take a step up, if you will. And speaking of taking a step up, not a wrestler in particular, but a championship division took a step up these past 2 weeks. The United States Championship.
Yeah. Dude.
This is
a match.
Let's talk about the United States Championship a little bit. Of course, last week we saw that great video package hyping up the history of the championship. This week around, we saw the same video package, but this time around, it kind of focused more on Lashley and Ciampa. We got 2 triple threat matches last week and a great match between Ciampa and AJ Styles to determine the number 1 contender. This week, we got the match itself. Lashley and Ciampa was a phenomenal match. Included AJ Styles and the Miz, and ultimately Lashley did end up winning the championship. Ciampa, of course, did dedicate the match to Harley Race, wore the jacket, the robe, if you will. Thought it was all great. And then kind of tying into it, some more storytelling with this kind of mid-card division of Raw. The Miz and AJ Styles got the main event slot, no disqualification. Ciampa gets involved, gets thrown through a table. AJ Styles, Miz have a very good no DQ match. Definitely a lot more hardcore than the no DQ match that we saw at SummerSlam between Judgment Day and the Mysterios, the friendly no DQ match, if you will. But nonetheless,
very
2
polite,
really solid matches.
Yeah.
And you know what? We don't. This will tie into. Let's drop it real quick. This will tie into match of the week. I'm going to give it to Lashley and Ciampa. I thought they just had a very good match. Put the prestige on the U.S. Championship. And, Marco, you mentioned, wasn't sure if their clashes were, their styles were going to clash, pun intended. But nonetheless, we got a really good match for them. I'm going to send it to J-Bone to start off on this time. First, give me your match of the week. And second, talk about this mid-card division on Raw. Where do you see them going with this United States Championship?
Yeah, this is hands down my match of the week, and I think this is the best match Bobby Lashley's ever had. To be honest with you, I think Ciampa made him look like $1 million fucking dollars. I mean, maybe $1 billion. So at the same time, Lashley sold well. He did a great job. Ciampa did an excellent job making also selling. I mean, these were 2 professionals, and this was like the perfect wrestling match. Just the way it was booked. I'm not gonna say perfect like it's an all-time classic. Don't get me wrong, but like just the way they worked it. As far as this mid-card status. It's cool. I don't know where they're really going to go with it. You got Miz. I don't know if they're going to end up doing like a 4-way or what's going to happen. But I don't really see that happening especially in the Triple H era. But I think it's cool. I wish we'd kind of maybe get a little bit of fresh blood. Like this would be a great spot for. Maybe adding the Dexter Loomis in there, like we talked about, potentially. So,
from what we saw in the main event, it seems that AJ Styles is going to be involved with Dexter Loomis. So, this could be a good spot for him. Get through AJ Styles and then get to the United States Championship. We could be seeing a little bit of a buildup towards it, which I like. Yeah. Marco, give me your match of the week and talk about this mid-card division.
Definitely Ciampa, Bobby Lashley, but
are we all in agreement for the first time here on the Raw?
Yeah, but I want to give a shout out to freaking the unsung hero of this guy. I don't think gets enough credit at all.
I think I know what you're about to say.
This dude's he's solid every time he's in the ring with somebody, and this is another case where I thought it was going to be a clash, like it wasn't going to work. Fucking Miz. Miz and AJ Styles in a match together, like and like it was an awesome match.
I've been saying the Miz is he's so underrated. I've been saying
Like,
it for 11 years now. So
you would think like a guy like the Miz would be like he plays safe. He doesn't really take chances and stuff like that. He was in the match with like one of the greatest of all time, essentially, and has a completely opposite style of what the Miz does, and carried it. I mean, they carried each other like perfectly. So you definitely I have to give props to Miz, man. Like he's been, I mean, for the past, even since the pandemic, dude. Like he's been on a roll. I mean, you can't give that guy praise enough for what he's been doing in the ring. But bring it back to the United States Championship. I think that, to me right now, that's the premier title for WWE. I mean, obviously, the Universal title, whatever, Roman Reigns can do whatever he does in SmackDown. But for me, the title that's getting the most action and getting the most attention is that title around Bobby Lashley's waist. And until Friday, when we see Shinsuke and Gunther go at it, that might change my mind.
Oh yeah,
because I know they're gonna blow the roof. That's probably gonna be. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna make a prediction that's gonna be our match of the week.
Match of the week, sure.
Is Shinsuke and Gunther, but yeah, like I said, to me, United States Championship division right now it's awesome, man. And just add more people to it. Just keep on bringing more fresh faces.
Yeah, and I'm sure you will. Speaking of which, funny that you mentioned that. Yes or no? Will we see Johnny Gargano before Clash of the Castle? Yes or no?
No. Probably after. I mean, maybe. I mean, that'd be pretty cool for him to mix it up in the U.S. Championship thing. But like, just to bring it back to that, like those two titles, the IC title, the U.S. title, are the workers' titles.
Yeah.
I mean, they've always been that. And
they haven't been presented well in the last few years.
Exactly.
So immediately with, Triple H in charge, you're already starting to see more of a focus put on it.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. You have a lot of great wrestlers in the WWE main roster. So I'm happy that you're getting that focus. And I will also say no for Johnny Gargano. I think there's a time and a place. And right now, I think everything with Ciampa and The Miz, we thought they were going to break up pretty early. I think you can keep at it with this story.
Yeah.
You don't want to
keep it going.
I'm okay with it.
You don't want to shut it out too quickly.
Another runner-up for match of the week, Angelo Dawkins and Seth Rollins.
Oh,
good
man.
match. Very good match.
Great match.
I'm liking what they're doing with the Street Profits and Seth Rollins here, just giving them those showcase matches. But let's move on to last Raw segment here. I don't know why Io Sky wasn't in this graphic. I thought she was, but we get Control, as a lot of people are calling them Control. They don't have a name yet, but I'm going to go with Control. They start off Raw. They start off Raw, and they have a promo that,
I didn't like this. This was one thing I did not like about Raw at all.
I'll let you talk about this one, J-Bone. What were your thoughts on the Control promo? And what were your thoughts on the brawl afterwards?
I mean, it has nothing to do with like necessarily Control. I mean, Bayley flubbed the line, and she did a good job of like recovering it. I mean, she's a heel, whatever. But I don't like, and this is one thing I haven't liked about Raw in a long time. I mean, go back into the Raw review. I said it then. If we're gonna do this change, one of the changes I want to see is let's start off hot with a match. Like I'm tired of this. Like, all right, we're gonna have the heels come down and they're gonna talk shit, and then the baby face is gonna come out. This is gonna be it. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
like that's one thing I love about AEW. Going back to the pandemic, they still do it to this day. Is they start off hot with a match. Just give me a match. That's why I'm watching wrestling. Give me a good story match, and let's get this shit going.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I agree.
Marco,
push that to the second segment. So
I was gonna say I agree, and only opening promo should be, they should be for Cody Rhodes. He's the only one that should be opening.
There you go. Yeah,
that's it. Like no one else, because people actually listen to him first and foremost, and he could bring people in, and someone's gonna interrupt him at some point. Seth Rollins might jump out or anything like that. But yeah, no, I agree. They definitely shouldn't open any Raws with the promos. It takes away from it. I mean, they should have just opened with the match. Like they should just opened with that women's tag team championship.
Yeah,
match
exactly.
Just or something. If they're gonna do that, and the other thing I do hate is when they come out at the beginning and then they come back out again later in the night. That's it's like you already seen them at the beginning. Now you're seeing them again. They just get off right then and there.
That's true.
Don't make us wait. But
Marco, what are your thoughts on the women's tag team tournament bracket? We've already seen Control advance. Now we're going to see the Alexa and Asuka teaming up. Do you feel that there's too many random tag team pairings, or does it work here because there's so many? The word of the night is underutilized. I feel like we've said that so many times, but so many underutilized women put together in tag teams with the inclusion of Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark tag team.
I was going to say they're going to throw some NXT people in there. I mean, there's not really much of a division within the women's tag team division, so it doesn't really bother me that they just threw teams together. It is what it is at this point until they establish. But I have a feeling they're going to try to establish the women's tag team division under Triple H. I think there's going to be more focus with that, and you might see those teams stay around, and maybe keep it in a way where they can go solo if they need to do like a singles match or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty much it. There's nothing really else to add.
J-Bone, early prediction to win the tournament.
I would have to say Control, maybe.
Yeah,
Marco, who are you going with?
Yeah,
Control?
it's unless they for some odd reason they get Sasha and Naomi back in at some point.
No, I don't see them being involved in the. Well, I mean, they're not involved in the tournament, of course.
If they do, they're gonna have to be 6 feet apart. No touching.
Oh, yeah, right?
No touching.
And we have to pay $140 to see it, but nonetheless. Anyways, so that's kind of our Raw recap there. I think there's a lot of good. There's some things that need to be tweaked, but I think it was a really strong Raw nonetheless. Let's move on to some SmackDown talk real quick.
Yeah.
So a lot of change in WWE, but some of the same. And what we saw on SmackDown was the continuation, it seems, of the Pat McAfee and Happy Corbin storyline. And I got to tell you, like usually with these kind of, nothing stories like the comedy stuff, like it's good for a little bit, but then it usually runs its course. I don't know. I feel like there's some legs to this story. Like we saw a great segment on SmackDown with the Pat McAfee kind of doing the playbook drawing on. If this is his new thing, I am so for it. If he has the screen and he's like, drawing on the screen and stuff, he should be doing this like not throughout the night, but at least once a night. Like, give the Pat McAfee rundown or something with, drawing on the screen. I think that was such a good little inclusion, and I would love to see that implemented more on the Happy Corbin. I see J-Bone is already putting his Becky Lynch shades on, but I'll give my real quick take. I think we will see this at Clash of the Castle. I think it'll be a stipulation match, and it'll finally end the feud, and maybe even bring Baron Corbin to his next kind of stage in his character.
Yeah.
J-Bone, you're giving me Becky shades. Talk about. Well, maybe we can't even call it Becky shades anymore because she's the man now. But I guess they're yours now. They're J-Bone shades.
What was that guy on Star Trek? He had these kind of glasses.
What was his name?
I don't know.
LeVar Burton. It was LeVar Burton.
Boney Lynch. It's Boney Lynch now.
Boney Lynch.
Boney Lynch.
That one yet. Boney Lynch is a good one.
That's a good one. It is a good one. Anyways, I could give 2 shits about Pat McAfee. I could give 2 shits about Happy Corbin. I think it's fucking dumb to have a little play-by-play. Are you a football player or are you a wrestler? Which one are you going to be, pal? Pick one. Goddamn. I don't like Ricochet. So I think he's boring. To be honest with you, he's a stale character. All he does is a bunch of flips and shit. So, green jacket, gold jacket, who gives a shit?
It's like, dude, you must hate AEW then, huh?
Yeah, right. Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit?
Marco, I'll send it to you for this. First, give me your take on do you think we're going to see the continuation of this feud And where do you see Ricochet playing into this? Triple H taking over. Do you think he's going to be a factor going forward, or is this kind of just a nothing match?
Let's see. I think Ricochet will do something. He is. I do agree with J-Bone. He is boring. Not the best on the mic. Not boring in ring. I do love his skill set in the ring.
Sure,
but yeah, his personality is not. We've talked about this countless times on this Chick Foley show that like you have those people that are great talents in the ring, but there's no personality. And to be in the WWE or in any organization, you have to have a personality. You have to be able to sell yourself. You can't just sell yourself with flips and shit.
Flips and
as J-Bone said, you have to be able to speak and be able to like draw people in and bring them into you. And Ricochet isn't one of them. Same thing with Claudio or Cesaro, as you want to call him.
Absolutely.
We used to shit on him all the time. Still do. Still great mid carder. Don't see him as a main eventer. Great.
That's for the
guy.
honor society, pal.
Plans change, pal.
But he's in comparison though. Like that's when he was Cesaro, we would say the same thing. Great in ring,
right.
but no personality whatsoever. Can't carry a promo to save his life.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen. I only wanted to bring up Ricochet in this because during the earlier stages of 2022, you got the reports that Ricochet was being positioned as the number 2 baby face on SmackDown, which I thought was crazy because he came out of nowhere, being the Intercontinental Champion, holding the belt, doing nothing with it, and then eventually losing it to Gunther. So, him being an NXT guy, maybe we'll see some, a little bit of a push for him, but I don't really see him doing much on SmackDown. Like, there's not much that you can do with him. I personally would like to see him in a tag team with someone. I feel like that is the perfect place for him, especially with the lack of tag teams right now for the Usos. I think that could really work for him. But nonetheless, it wasn't really a topic that I was really looking to deep dive into, but there was really not a lot on this episode to dive too much into because they put a lot of time into each of these segments. It wasn't like fast, like seeing this person. So speaking of the Usos, I will bring up this next topic here, and that is the fact that we're getting a bit of dissension within the bloodline of the honorary Us or whatever his name is. And Jey Uso is basically telling Sami Zayn, like, you got to start pulling your weight, like you need some gold, like if you're gonna stay with us. So we're looking at kind of a new direction for Sami Zayn. What's going to happen with Zayn? Is he going to be part of the bloodline? Is he going to turn against the bloodline? Marco, I'll let you start on this one.
Man, I knowing Sami Zayn, man, I think he's gonna be that. He's gonna be that crack in the bloodline's armor. He's definitely gonna ruffle some feathers within the bloodline, and I'm not sure what he's gonna do, but I definitely think he's going to be the beginning of the downfall for he's a loose cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Sami Zayn's a psychopath. You've seen it. You went a whole year thinking people were had a conspiracy against him with the Intercontinental Championship. My Intercontinental Championship. You took away my Intercontinental. So that whole I mean, who knows the lengths he'll go. If they do push him away further enough where he's just going to go, you know what? That's it. I'm taking this whole thing down with me. And he's going to cost somebody. He's going to cost one of those guys holding the titles their titles. We'll move past Roman Reigns. I could see him making causing the Usos to lose their titles in a tag team match. I could see that happening.
Maybe. J-Bone, give us your thoughts on this.
I'm going to give a Hawk answer. Meh.
Well, in that case, I'll pick it up for you there because I think this is really good storytelling. I think,
whoa, pal.
It is.
It is. Look at it this way. This was kind of Roman Reigns' mentality last year, telling the Usos they need to start picking up their weight. He was telling Jey Uso this, you need to start putting some gold around your waist. I'm the head of the table. You need to start pulling your weight around here. And now kind of I saw on Twitter, like, you know, this is Jay kind of taking the personality traits of Roman and, you know, kind of letting it go to his head, now telling Sammy that he needs to start pulling his weight around here. So I think that's really subtle storytelling, possibly a stretch, but nonetheless, I think it's good little details there. And I'll cap it off with this. I don't think Zayn will be the reason why someone loses their championship so much as, well, he will be in a way. I think Zayn tag teams with someone and takes the tag team championships off of the Usos. Now, before Raw, I was thinking that would be Kevin Owens to tag team with. But now that Owens is doing his own thing, I don't think, you know, I think he stays far away from this. I think there needs to be some type of direction going forward. But right now I'm feeling like Zayn is going to take the titles off of the Usos. With who his tag team partner would be, I don't know yet, but that's the beauty of the story. Sami Zayn, like Marco said, is a loose cannon. Anything could happen. Fuck, he could win the 24/7 title and be like, look, I'm a champion. I'm holding my weight, right? It's all good.
He could.
Anything could happen at this point. But look, we're definitely going to see some more storytelling here with the Bloodline. And last little topic here for SmackDown before we decide who won the week. We have a women's championship match confirmed for Clash at the Castle. Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler. So Shayna Baszler was heavily pushed in NXT.
She got booed.
Well, that's what I'm going to get to in a second, because Shayna Baszler was, you know, pushed heavily in NXT. You know, she brought up to the main roster, wiped out the field at Elimination Chamber, and then she lost to Becky Lynch, and we haven't heard from her since. And then we look on the other side of things. Liv Morgan was doing absolutely nothing for the longest time. She was part of the Riot Squad. She was part of that weird Rusev and Lana storyline that everyone forgot.
Yeah.
Right. Thankfully, everyone forgot. And then she finally gets her push, and she wins the women's championship. And because of a confusing finish at SummerSlam, we get "You tapped out" chants from the SmackDown crowd. And
yikes.
This is definitely not the way that Tripp saw this going. J-Bone, I'll start with you on this one. Two questions for you. One, what do you see from Liv Morgan here? Is it going to be a problem going forward, or is this a one-time thing that she gets booed? And to add on to that, what's your hype levels going into a match with Shayna Baszler and Liv Morgan?
Well, this is one of the promos that it felt like it was the Vince era. Like she was having to sit there and think about what she had to say, that she was just going through it and blah, blah, just robot, and that could be partially for the booze a little bit. That is going to be something to kind of watch in this Triple H era, because they're so used to script promos that if Triple H is like, okay, here's some bullet points, they may not be able to do that, or they may have to learn that way, how to do, possibly. But it was yikes. I felt bad for her. I don't really understand it, though, to be honest with you. I mean, she was like super over, and then because you have a funky finish,
Look, I wasn't a big fan of the finish, but like I think they went about it the wrong way, like trying to make Liv like this sympathetic face. Like she could have came out on SmackDown and just been like, yeah, I got the win. Of course, I had to, do a little cheating to win, but I'm still your champion. Blah blah blah. Kind of make her that cocky, give her an edge a little bit. But like the fact that she comes out with a sling and she's like, oh, the fans got me through it. Like, come on. Like, there's so many other ways that you could have gone about this. I do think this feud with Shayna will help a little bit. I think Shayna, just being a natural heel, will be able to have Liv be that babyface, injure Liv's injured arm even more, make it, will Liv compete at Clash of the Castle? I think there's a lot of ways that you could go about this. J-Bone, what's your hype levels for this match?
4
out of 10.
Yeah.
All right, I could see that. I mean, it's not a huge match, but that's because of Shayna hasn't really been built up that
Yeah.
well. Like last time she was a champion, she was with Nia Jax.
Actually, I'm gonna give it 5.5 because there is time. So that's a good point.
There's time. That's a good point. Marco, what about you?
Same 4.
All right, I can see that. I'll go with a 5 just because, like you said, there is time. But like, they're gonna have to sell me on this match. I need some good storytelling with Shayna and Liv here. Marco, just what are your thoughts on the Liv promo? Do you think this is just a one-time thing, or do they have a problem going forward with Liv?
They might, depending on what city they're in. That's gonna tell the tale. So we'll see what happens on Friday with the. I'm not sure where they are, but hopefully she gets some love there. Yeah, it seemed like it just came out of nowhere. That whole. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. It was almost like a switch, with Bret Hart and Stone Cold, like the heel face switch that happened. It was almost like the same thing with Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan. Like Ronda Rousey came out as a baby face, and Liv came out as a heel. So I don't know.
True. Hey, look, I'm hoping that we can get a good story out of this. Make Liv that, like, now is the time to make Liv that sympathetic baby face. Like, have Shayna go after that injured arm, make Liv just rally back and eventually win the title back, retain the title. I think it'll be a good story. There's time. We got to see where it goes. But right now, we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's only so much that you can do. But with that being said, we are going to close out the show the only way we know how, and that is to determine who won the week. Can't end a RawDown episode without figuring out who won the week. So, Marco, between Raw, between SmackDown, who won the damn week?
I'm going to go Raw.
I'm
going to go Raw with who won the week.
Any real reason? Like, what was what put you over the edge for Raw?
Just the whole storyline with Dexter Loomis, those whole like Easter eggs that happened throughout the episode that nobody put together until towards the end with everything, and obviously the United States Championship match was definitely something that helped it. The promo that Ciampa gave before that about Harley Race and stuff like that, and I didn't think I would ever hear Harley Race's name on Raw. First and foremost, that was a huge thing. Like I didn't even think they would even mention any legends whatsoever besides like a Brock Lesnar or Undertaker or anything like that. Like, but to hear Harley Race mentioned on Raw, that was pretty huge. So I think you're gonna see a lot more, or hear a lot more names like that. I think.
Yeah.
And it kind of tells that that they are separating themselves from Vince McMahon's vision, where wrestling was a bad thing, and wrestling's going to be a good thing, and you're going to start to hear those names. Like I said, I have a feeling with that Vice show that's coming out, the territories, that that kind of like goes hand in hand with what's happening. They're going to have to pair up with WWE to get some of that footage, and I think you're just going to see a lot more of those legends being spoke of, and promos and stuff like that.
Yeah, good points all around. Big Bone Man, who won the week?
I'm gonna go with Raw as well too, but I think it's been a lot closer than it has been like the last few weeks.
Definitely.
Since we basically started this segment, because SmackDown for a while was really shitty. Equally. I mean, I say equally. I mean, obviously I'm going with Raw, but I mean, SmackDown was no slouch here. But ultimately, I think there was just I think they utilized that 3 hours really great yesterday, and I think with the thing with Dexter, that kind of I don't know that kind of intrigues me a little bit more than the stuff with Karrion. Just a slight bit. I mean, yeah, Karrion is in the main event, whatever, but like that was just so out of left field. Like, I'm just interested to see what they have to come with that. And then my match of the week, of course, two of them really banger matches: Angelo Dawkins and Seth Rollins, and Lashley and Ciampa. So,
hell yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Raw as well. A lot of great matches, like J-Bone mentioned. The continuous storytelling is something that I'm really picking up on for Raw specifically. I'm going to be honest, I was dumb, and I turned off SmackDown about an hour into the show because I was like, I'll test my luck, and I'll see what happens. But I'm happy that they made me regret turning the show off, which is the first time I can say that in a long-ass time. So, you know, of course, I went back and I watched Karrion Kross, and I watched everything that I missed. And, of course, I will not be missing SmackDown this week. I'll tell you that. But Raw went all through 3 hours, and you can see all the storytelling throughout the show, segments blending into each other, really good matches, you know, promos that are more direct, not a lot of goofy kind of dialogue or whatever. Good storytelling. My Judgment Day is looking great. So how could you not go for it? As long as the Judgment Day looks great, Raw is going to get the win. So it's a clean sweep for Raw across the board here. And I think that just about caps off our Who Won the Week segment. Who won the week? It was Raw. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen,
Hey, yo.
it's time to end the show. Folks, thank you so much for listening and or watching to yet another edition of the RawDown. Marco, what is going on in the world of the Chick Foley show?
A lot of things. We have I always forget, so let me start off with this. The Pod Foundation. Definitely go to the IG, Instagram, Twitter. Follow the Pod Foundation to get all the updates on all the shows. It's literally shows every day of the week. Mostly brought to you by Turnbuckle Tavern. But obviously we have the Extra Cooler show coming down the aisle. And, of course, last but not least, the Chick Foley show. So definitely follow those two accounts and get all the updates. And follow everyone else individually, too. Why not? Get more followers. The other thing we have, too, is the Facebook group, chickfoleyshow.com. $2 gets you in. A lot of figures coming out. A lot of things hitting Target and Walmart now, so definitely want to have that extra set of eyes. I know in my area we get literally nothing, so I pretty much rely on a lot of connections in the group to get things that are popping up. And with Amazon too, there's a lot of Amazon exclusives, things like that pop up that some people might have faster hands that grab 2 or 3 and can help you out. So definitely hit them up. Obviously, if you didn't hear last week, open mic. I had the pilot episode.
It's really good. Really good. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you, sirs. Pretty good feedback from it. I had the lovely Mrs. MVP with me talk a little bit of wrestling. This week will be Chick Foley. She'll be on the premiere.
Oh, no, her.
Yeah, she's coming on as Sheena Phelps, not Chick Foley. So
goddamn,
that should be the precursor of
what about Godwina? Not Godwina?
But Godwina might pop up.
Oh,
I sent her the outline of the show and what it's going to look like. So it might be a little bit of a longer form than the pilot episode, mainly because I want to touch on some some things other than wrestling. It'll be very minimal wrestling talk, we'll say. I'll give you that. I'll give you that little thing. I'm trying to be the Barbara Walters of the Pod Foundation. So I'm trying to dig into everyone's lives and see what makes them tick.
Do you have an English accent?
I can work on it.
Sweet. Barbara Walters doesn't have an English accent.
No, she definitely doesn't.
It sounds like English.
I'll tell you one of my main ones. I can't wait to. I mean, I'll do. Obviously, I'm going to do the internal people, interview everyone, but definitely some external people as well. But I can't wait to interview Nick Storm and ask him if he's related to Lance Storm, if he's related to Tony Storm,
or Boney Storm,
or Boney Storm, or any storms. I'm gonna do my research and find a list of storms, people with the last name Storm, and just ask him all throughout the episode.
Or Sandstorm.
Or Stormy Daniels.
Or Stormy Daniels. That's another one. But no, definitely, yeah. So be on the lookout
we'll talk
this
about
week
her
for that interview. So but yeah.
Great stuff. Great stuff from Marco. Big Bone Man, J Bone, whatever you want to call yourself. What's going on at Coming Down the Aisle?
Coming down the aisle, I got my good buddy Robbie Russo. He has a podcast called the Slaw Podcast, which is like a sports-centric podcast. But he's my good buddy. I went to WrestleMania 30 with him in New Orleans. And we're going to be watching Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, Royal Rumble 2015. Great match indeed. And we're just gonna be talking about wrestling takes, and we're recording tomorrow night actually. So, yeah. So we got that. I've got some new Freed the Figs. I put up.
Freaking nobody freaking. It's the Macho Man Randy Savage, and I'm coming after you, DDP.
NWO Macho Man Ultimate Edition. I went to my Target and holy shit, they had it on the pegs, and I grabbed it and I was like, I caressed it and I loved it. And I said, "You're naughty, Macho. You're naughty."
Oh, dude, love that. Love the reference.
I take my Macho and I go. Shout out to Tommy Boy. Anyways, yeah, but one thing I kind of want to talk about too, coming here to the Turnbuckle Tavern feed in a few weeks, me and the Hawkster, we're doing a
that
show,
old
baby.
leg second dog.
Oh, boy.
The Long Balls coming to the Turnbuckle Tavern feed. If you're an NFL fan, or if you watch, you do fantasy football, the Hawkster and I, we're gonna be doing our weekly NFL show. So check that out. Coming to the Turnbuckle Tavern feed near you.
Excellent. I'm really looking forward to that show. I think it's going to be a fun time, even with Hawk. I know he'll carry, but
can't wait to not hear it.
Yeah, I'll just
mute Hawk. All you gotta do is
I'll just skip. I was going to say I'll skip the part.
Yeah,
Hawk.
Yeah, could you send me a timestamp? Send me a timestamp
right?
of when Hawk speaks, and then
all I'll do is mute him, and I'll tell him, "Oh yeah, good points." Yeah, he'll think he's on air.
Get a censor button on him. Such great stuff around the Pod Foundation. You can also check out the Independent Epicenter on Instagram and Twitter at Indie Epicenter. Invictus Pro Wrestling having a show at the end of the month, so you'll be seeing a video in about 2 weeks from me. And not a lot from me this time around. I don't know about you guys, but I've been seeing these weird videos on Instagram. Came up on YouTube too, like just weird, like something about an hourglass or something. I don't know. It popped up on my feed. So
TikTok.
It might have been on TikTok. I'm not really sure, but it's been on Instagram. I've been seeing it a lot lately, so you should check out your feeds. Could be something interesting there. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen,
you're sick.
Jesus Christ! Sick.
What the hell was that?
You're sick, pal.
What was that?
I have no idea. These videos are following me everywhere, man. You gotta be careful. I think I don't know what it is, but
you're sicko.
I feel like you're gonna have to turn your attention to these videos because it's
I don't like it.
Something's brewing, and I don't like it. Maybe I do.
There's something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? J-Bone.
Sorry to our audio listeners if I scared the shit out of you on that one, but anyways, it wasn't me. It wasn't my fault. But ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you heard, and I know that you did, make sure that you support the Turnbuckle Tavern to you in any way that you can. The number one way to do that is just head over to theturnbuckletavern.com. We make it so easy for you. All of our links are right there for you to join our community. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you can listen to us. YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, you can watch us. Join our Discord. All right, make sure that you are engaging in our community. And while you're at it, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook to get all of your excellent updates on the Turnbuckle Tavern content. And if you want to go that extra step, and I know that you do, you can buy our merch at prowrestlingtees.com/tavern. You can get all of your tavern favorites. You got Hollywood Tony, you got Boney Schiavone, Marco. Everyone's got a shirt. So many inside jokes, so many recurring jokes that the fans know and love. Get your shirt today, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Go on over to Teespring at the same time and get some RawDown shirts. We got our logo on there. We've got the Mr. Backlash shirt, which is a personal favorite of mine. Got stickers, you got mugs. Get whatever type of merch that you want because it helps the tavern and it helps us go a long way. While you're at it, call the tavern. This will be our last little bit of self-promo on the night. 304-404-2004 is the number to call to hear your message played on the flagship show. Call the tavern. Leave us a voicemail. Talk about the RawDown. We want to know what you are thinking about, what your thoughts on the RawDown are. I'm sure Hawk is going to have some thoughts on the RawDown on his segment of Call the Hawk. But call the tavern. Get your voice heard. That's 304-404-2004 is the number to call. That's 304-404-2004. Thank you so much for tuning into yet another edition of the RawDown. We have fun here on the tavern, and we will see you here next week for yet another edition of the number one place to get all your WWE news. But until then, take care and spike that hair. Woo-woo.
Suck it.
You know it.